Well, hello there, and welcome to Fridays with Tab and Chance. I am Tabitha Brown, and this is my husband.
I'm Chance. What's up?
Today we have a special guest. Go on and introduce yourself, girl.
What's up, y'all? It's Brandee Evans. I know some of y'all know me from P-Valley and caregiving, because it's Caregiver Appreciation Month.
Come on, it sure is, and we're going to get into it. Until then, honey, bring the beat in. Fridays, Fridays with Tab and Chance. Ba-dum-bum-bum. Fridays with Tab and Chance.
I pick up quick, honey.
Hey,
She knows what to do. All right.
she got right in there.
And did very good. How you doing, girl?
Hey, that's the best.
Thank you. Right? And she was like, I would have practiced. Good.
Yeah.
She don't need no practice. She's a professional. Okay.
Thank you.
But how you feeling?
Good.
Yes.
I'm tired today, I ain't gonna lie.
I know.
I'm
All of
tired
us are,
today.
but you know, it's all right.
Yes.
Still standing.
Amen.
Here we are. And you mentioned you are a caregiver.
Yes.
We know that November is Caregiver Awareness and Appreciation. It should be every month, okay?
Yes.
It is for me and for you. But we are talking about caregiving today. So let's get into, before we get into that, right? Before we get into caregiving, because we're going to get into it, right? Let's talk about where you're from, and let's talk about your childhood.
Ooh.
Yeah, let's talk about where you grew up and
There
all
we
the
go.
things.
All right, here we go.
Oh, yeah, she don't let you warm up.
Right,
Let's
she
go.
be
You know,
right there.
let's
go.
get into it.
Yeah.
So I am from Memphis, Tennessee.
Okay.
Love that for me. So I've been in LA, what is it? This makes year 15 or 16.
Oh, wow,
But so I was that girl that was just like, I want to go to LA one day. Since I was 16 years old.
Really?
I was always wanting to come to LA because I used to take dance classes out here. First of all, I lied about my age so I could go to dance camp because you're supposed to be in college. So I was on a dance team back in the day called Memphis Elite. And so I lied and said I was on Memphis University so I could go to the classes. And that's how I networked and got to know people at 16 years old.
Girl, shut
So
up.
by the time I got out here, people knew me and I would introduce myself like, hey, I'm Brandee from Memphis. That's how I would introduce myself to people.
Really?
So started with dancing, did the NBA for the Memphis Grizzlies.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yep,
Okay.
danced for the Grizzlies. I'm from Overton High School. We
Okay.
strive to educate the total
You know
person.
that.
you know about it?
Listen,
Hey, that's
yes,
Memphis.
Carlos, yep, we went to college together.
Oh, I love
At
it.
the University of Memphis, I am a Delta
Okay.
Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. What else about me? And I taught high school English. That's what a lot of people don't realize, that I was a high school English teacher.
In Memphis?
In Memphis. I was
Shut
the
up.
department chair, okay? And then I wrote my resignation letter on a tour bus and never went back. We're gonna have to get into that.
Oh, yeah, we got to get into that. You can't even skim over there. Okay, so you gave us kind of high school to college, Brandee, but who was the little girl, Brandee?
Oh, little girl Brandee. Little girl Brandee. Oh, you gonna make me cry today. Oh, God.
A couple times.
Yes.
That's what she
I'm
known
like,
for.
oh, where's my tissue?
Oh.
Little girl Brandee was brought up in a very strict household.
Okay.
So my daddy is a preacher, was a preacher at the time. So I was a PK, and I had...
I didn't know this either.
Yep,
Okay.
PK. And mama was very much so, this is how you do it, this is what's ladylike, this is what's not. So I think sometimes I hold myself to that standard. Still, the trauma of our parents. So yeah, little girl Brandee wanted to do a lot, but was told she couldn't. And so when I got to the space where I could, I went after everything I wanted. And so that's where I am now.
So as a little girl, you liked to dance
Oh my
and
gosh,
perform?
yes.
You had that desire?
Always. And I was in gymnastics growing up.
Okay.
And I would get in trouble in gymnastics because I was trying to do too much. So they'd be like, you're not on level 2 or 3 yet, but I would look at the girls and be like, oh, they flipping off of it. I would just run and flip anyway. And so I would get a lot of,
Baby had no training.
Right.
but y'all had
I
to
mean,
say,
I can do that.
I can do that, like, and I would just do it, and while it was cool, but I was also breaking the protocol, so I was in trouble a lot in gymnastics. And I'll never forget, my mama pulled me out, she's like, we'll go back when you get it together, and we never went back.
And how old were you then?
I was maybe like 7 or 8, and I was advancing fast, but they were just sick of me getting the complaints because
Shut
Brandee
up.
kept trying to do too much.
But that's all right.
So, yeah.
But thank God that you.
what did that class
you know,
look like? That's what I'm envisioning that.
When you did gymnastics.
Yeah, what was the demographic?
The demographic, I was one of the only black girls in there.
So she might have pulled you out for a different kind of reason.
That's a very good point.
Yeah.
And see, that's
I'm
the thing.
gonna try to help Mama out right here.
Yeah, but I'm gonna ask my daddy now. That's the thing that sucks about Alzheimer's too. It's like so many questions I have now that I can't ask her. So I would love to know that. I'm gonna ask my dad that today. Like, what was the reason? Because you knew I was good at it, but he's the reason that I went to Memphis Elite, because he would listen to the AM radios, and Memphis Elite was the team back home that was competing and winning all the competitions, traveling around the world. So I was on the dance teams at school, but we was losing. And I'm like, Daddy, like, I'm watching ESPN when the girls would be on there, and I'm like, but Daddy, I could do it. So I would watch their routines, and I would learn it. And I remember he'd be like, go to bed, and I'm like, oh, but I wouldn't know the names of the tricks, but I would watch it, and I'd be like, okay, jump. So I would learn all of the University of Memphis's competition routines that were on ESPN. So my senior year, when it was time to audition, my little brother was in karate. He taught me how to do the kip up, because I didn't know what the name of it was. I showed him a video on the VHS.
Okay, come on.
And then I was like, Aaron, what's that? And he was like, that's just a kip up. So he taught me how to do that on the basement floor, the concrete, back home. And I went to the University of Memphis audition, and I did every single trick that they had done, that they had won in nationals. Because I said, if I can do it on a wood floor and show them that I can do this, then I can be on a team. They were only giving out 12 scholarships. That's always known that only one black girl, if one, would get the scholarship. I was the only black girl to get a full scholarship to the University of Memphis.
Shut up.
And that's how I paid for college. And watching them videos. And I remember the coach being like, how did you
know that? Yeah.
Because I watched, and I was like, if I do every trick they can do, she know I can hang on this team.
That is amazing.
From the basement with her brother.
From the basement with my little brother.
I had no idea. That's amazing. So in like elementary school, did you do plays and stuff?
No, I was always afraid. That's the thing. When I went to performing arts school, I went to Colonial Junior High, which was performing arts, and then I went to Overton, which was performing arts. And we always would have performances. Like, it was amazing. You could see a whole play production, the choir, and we had Lula Hedgeman, I believe was her name, our choir teacher, which everybody knew her. And we had all the artists that have, we had K. Michelle at the school. We had Trinice, who went on to be on American Idol, top 3. We had all the people, Kyle, who plays for Stevie Wonder to this day. We had all these great artists that came through the school. Elise Neal went there, so I would watch them get up there and perform. But I was like, how do they remember lines? And I would just be afraid. And then also, with love, my mama always told me, no, you need to do English. So she actually wrote my letter to get into performing arts school. So I was an English major at the performing arts school, but I wanted to do dance. And she said, you'll never do anything with dance, but that's what paid for her medical bills. So even your parents, y'all, don't never let nobody tell you what you cannot do. And she was like, no, she's like, you're never gonna do nothing with that. And even with the University of Memphis, I didn't tell them that I was accepted because I wanted to come out to LA. And since 16, I was coming to these camps with Frankie, my coach, and I'm like, I wanna go out away. And also they held me so tight. I'm like, I gotta go somewhere else. Pepperdine. I was like, Daddy, it's a Christian school. He's like, nope, I can't get to you. And I was like, okay, FAMU. And I loved FAMU, but FAMU didn't have a competitive dance team. And so I was gonna go there, and right when we were about to drive, we're like, nah, then we're like, Florida State, they only offered half. So I went to audition for the University of Memphis, and I remember calling my daddy at church, it was a Sunday, and he goes, how you got a scholarship and you ain't got accepted? I said, Daddy, I got accepted a long time ago. I hid the letter because I didn't want to go to University of Memphis. I was trying to get away. But I'm glad I didn't get away at that time because I was meant to do everything that I did and come out in LA at an older age.
I want to ask you, because you said something that I can relate to. You said, how do they remember lines? Because how you describing yourself in your childhood, you obviously you weren't afraid of the light. Right?
Even though I was told you want to be more than who you are, and I quote.
Yeah.
Who you are? What does that mean? Yep.
So
somebody told you
My
that.
mama told me that.
You want to be more than
you
who
want to be
you are.
more than who you are.
Did she say it as an inspiration, or did she say it as in telling you that's what you're trying to do?
Telling me. I had just bought a house. I bought my first house at 23. And I remember, because I was coaching and teaching and all of that, and I remember her telling me when she came over, she looked around the house and she was like, this is all lavish. I'm just regular. You're trying to be more than who you are. And I love her, but I know that that was just a jealousy of what she probably couldn't do because she was the oldest girl of all of, so she would always talk about 13 kids and would always talk about the things that she didn't get to do. So I think that I know she loved me, but it was that moment of I'm watching my little girl go do everything. She wanted to be a flight attendant. So when the older I got, sometimes I wouldn't even tell her I was traveling the world because I know it would hurt her.
So she didn't know how to find her joy in seeing you do those things. My God. Okay. Go ahead, babe. What were you?
I'm processing what she just said.
Yeah.
That's a lot. And I've not said that out loud.
Jealousy.
I don't even think he knows that.
Because I have, we've been at this particular moment with different guests and ourselves about our parents and their doubts as it pertains to the entertainment world. Is jealousy the right word? Or is it fear? And I'm not trying to change I was processing it, like, because I've never heard anybody sit here with us and pinpoint the word jealousy as it pertains to their parents. It's been, and I know with me and our girls, right, a lot of times I have to be mindful to not let my fear of the unknown be spoken outwardly to try to hold them from doing things that they're adventurous about. You get what I mean? Right. Because I think as it pertains to Tab, it was some stuff said from parents, both our parents, that when it was said, I was like, y'all don't know, she gonna make it. What you talking about? We going, right? You know, and I'm young. And I felt a certain way then, but now looking back in hindsight as a parent, they didn't have cell phones. We got far more resources now to where I can reach out and touch my kids, my girls, wherever they at on this planet. Our parents didn't have that. They didn't have the luxuries that we do now. They had never seen anything like we've seen. And you can go as far as, just the technology, you can go with the social things being acceptable in society, all of those things that they were new to. So I give them grace, in other words. It's a long way to say I find a way to give them grace because of those things. But my question for you is, I was going to ask you that if you think that some of it was because of, or is it a combination? Do you think some of it was because of her upbringing and those things? You get what I mean?
Right.
Or can we pinpoint jealousy?
I think in some ways we're going to pinpoint jealousy because I know some things.
Okay.
But for example, my father's was absolute fear and wanting to protect his daughter. I know that for a fact. With Mama, it wasn't intentional.
Yeah.
It was just, so that's the reason too, because I've had to heal and learn, because I know I couldn't be doing what I'm doing now, caring for her, if I still held on to that resentment as well.
Yeah.
And then when the older you get, you start finding out situations and stories like, wait, that happened to Mama? Her own issues.
Yeah.
So that's why I say it wasn't intentional, but it was hurtful for her to watch her baby go jump on a plane when she wanted to be a flight attendant.
Right.
But then she had me younger, or she had to stay at home and take care of the other siblings and things like that. But I don't think that she meant it to be that way. And my mom just
Which
loved
makes all
different.
the difference.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yep.
And that's why I know for me, I had to break that down. And you know who helped me with that? Robbie Reed. She was my mentor when I first brought my mom here, and we would talk about these heavy situations. And she was like, tell her you forgive her. And forgive yourself too. And so when I had that conversation, literally the night I brought my mom home, and I said, I forgive you for any of the things that you've ever said to me that hurt me, and I'm sorry for anything that I could have said to hurt you. And Mama doesn't talk well, but in that moment, she said, thank you for saying that to me. And I remember calling Robbie, and I'm like, oh my God, you're right. And she was like, you know, maybe then, Brandee, she was just like, but the older she's gotten too, and when you get sick and life be lifing, and sometimes you start really realizing like, I need to change my ways, or what I said then might have been hurtful, let me apologize. And so even for me, I know I've said some crazy stuff back in the day, because I'm just like, who are you talking to, Mama? Like, that's not cool.
Yeah.
But that's still my mama.
Yeah.
And you only get one. And that's what I came to grips with.
Well, I'm trying to stay. Man, she talking and I'm ready to get to this
This is it,
to this
though.
character. But
Yeah.
I don't want to jump too far ahead because the character that you play in the relationship that you have with your mama.
Yeah. Like
That was therapy.
Yeah,
That was
okay.
therapy.
Yeah.
Because the things that I would never say out loud to my mom, I was able to say it as Mercedes. And to grieve that out and get that out. I mean, it goes even deeper than that to have the daughter, because my daughter was stillborn, and she would have been the exact age as the
I
little
had no
girl.
idea that you had a daughter. Mm-hmm. Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
I was married too.
She just be skipping over stuff.
Listen.
Just like, so let's, okay, so wait a minute.
So wait. Yes.
So you were married.
14 years.
Didn't know that either. And had a daughter. Full term.
I had had my baby shower and everything, and she was stillborn.
My God.
At 9 months after the baby shower, after 2 miscarriages and a molar pregnancy. I know y'all ain't never heard of that probably.
What is a molar pregnancy?
Molar pregnancy is where your body starts to form like it's pregnant, but there's no baby there. And so they can either put you on chemo or wait till the hormones to come back. And luckily my father was like, do not do chemo, let's just wait, Brandee. And so then my hormones came back normally. But you still have to do the D&C and everything because things start to form, but not everything, no heart. Yeah, I had never heard of that before.
Never.
So then finally thinking things were good, had lyric, had a stillborn.
Did you go through labor or did you have to have a
I
C-section?
had to have a labor, yep. Labor, that was a lot too because I was coaching dance teams at the time. So I literally buried my little girl and went to Disney the same week with 12 other little girls to get them ready for nationals. And they won. And then they fired me because I was too rough. Life.
So the little girl on the show would be the same
Right.
age that
The exact same age. And I was just like, that's God. And when I got the job, I didn't know that Mercedes was a mom. They didn't tell me.
because it was introduced later. Yeah.
I found out when I got episode 3, I'll never forget, and I'm reading the script, and she was like, my mama, and I was like, my mama? I remember calling Nico, because Nico knew what was going on with me and all, because I'm very close to him, and I called him bawling. I was like, Mercedes has a daughter. He's like, yeah. I was like, I didn't know she's the same age Lyric would be. And so I used that too, and me and Azaria, that's like my daughter in real life now. I feel like God brought her in my life, brought P Valley in my life, because I've been able to heal through this show in many ways.
Goodness. You think you know, and then you have no idea, right?
So I was saying earlier, but now I think it's so. She said something to me, or said something earlier about the lines. I always think that when I see actors and actresses, like, man, I'm not in fear of anything else, but I'm always amazed at how you remember that.
How you remember that?
Right? I was going to ask you, how did you get over it? Because you obviously got over it, but now
The fear
listening
of
to you,
lines.
I think I know the answer.
I had to. I had to.
Yeah.
And beyond that, when I also got P Valley, I didn't have co-star credits, anything. It was just like, it was a blessing.
Because you had been grinding for a long time.
Grinding, was
For a
in
long
classes.
time, yeah.
Went to T-Saw,
Yep.
Tasha Smith, went to Richard Lawson's class. Like, I really wanted to act, and then Robbie would allow me to be a reader at BET. So I would be there, and I'm like, y'all got some auditions? You know, like, can I be a reader? Because I would learn from watching. But Vanessa Williams helped me. I remember her showing me how she studied lines, and I started studying lines like her. And so that helped me remember the lines. But also I thought to myself, if you don't get this job and keep this job, you can't feed your mama. Because when I got P Valley, we didn't have groceries in the fridge. And I remember I still have the video, hair all over my head, me sitting on the ground and crying to my mama, signing my contract on the internet. And I'm like, Mama, we're gonna be all right now. We're gonna be all right now. And Kiara Lachey, if y'all know her, she's on Instagram doing a lot of workout videos and stuff. And Kiara Lachey would cook for me because I wouldn't have food at the house. And I'd go over and she'd be like, girl, why you ain't telling me? And I'm like, long as mama okay. But I was snatched by default because it was like just enough money to feed mama, but you know, I'm just gonna stay slim because I ain't got the food. So that was what was really happening.
Wow. Wow.
I think a lot of times as artists, right, you know, when you hear the word starving actress, right, or a starving actor, that it comes from a real place.
Yes.
And we can always go get a job, which we have done. But there's also, when you work a regular job, you're still starving because you can't feed this thing inside of us, which is a desire to perform.
Yep.
And you go hungry for that thing, which causes us to go back into pursuing it, right? It's like we just can't let it die inside of us. And most of the people who ignore it, who choose to just, I'm gonna go ahead and work a regular job, and I'm no longer going to feed this thing that has me hungry, they end up starving themselves.
Yep.
So while they're in another job, you see people who are malnourished in real life, but this becomes a devil's playground.
Yeah.
And you can't get well because you can't feed yourself properly. No matter what, it's just like, oh man, I'm not doing what I love, or this thing inside of me, I'm not feeding that. So I just applaud you, knowing that you were suffering silently, but you were also doing that through trauma and taking care of your mama through trauma, which I think so many people, as we get into talking about caregiving, so many people end up having to care for their parents who treated them poorly, who treated them less than, who didn't know how to parent them or love them because of their own trauma. And so many people still show up and take care of their parents. And you've done that in your own way. So how, I know you said you went through therapy and you started talking to Robbie, but just having that one conversation isn't enough to just heal.
Oh, no.
Right?
Oh,
so
wow.
For people who are watching, who are dealing with becoming caregivers for their parent, for their abuser, for, because everybody can't afford to put their parents in a home. Right? Some people don't believe in that. Sometimes you're the only one who can take care of your parent or your child or whatever, whomever, you become the caregiver. How did you make that decision? Because you have a sister?
I have brothers.
Just a brother?
Yeah.
Okay. How many brothers?
2 brothers.
By your mother? Okay.
Well, Aaron.
Okay.
And then, but we don't say stepbrother.
Right.
But yeah, that's my brother. So Aaron and Pooh, Dennis, have the same father, but who I call my dad is actually not my biological father.
Okay.
But he is to me because that's the man that stepped in, has been there for me since I was 3 years old. So that's who I call daddy.
Okay. So how did you make the decision, or as a family, that it was going to be you who took care of your mama?
Oh, it's so funny you say that. We actually ended up having a meeting, and it was a rough one, y'all. It was a rough one because you know how families can get.
Yeah.
And so it was like, I knew I'm the one that's not married. I'm the one that doesn't have kids. Aaron is in the military. He has 2 kids. Pooh's got his boys. And it was just like, it's gotta be me. And also, just being honest, I knew my mama would want it to be me. Because I'm gonna take care of her. The womanly things, and it's in hindsight, I always say to people now, I'm like, oh, she was teaching me. She was teaching me. And I have sat and cried with her and told her, thank you for teaching me how to care for you. Thank you for teaching me how to advocate for you. And while I was thinking, oh, Aaron get to run out and Pooh get to run out and I got to be in this kitchen paying attention. And she like, make this when I get home and leave me notes and know how to do this and know how to do that. And I'm like, if she hadn't have done that, I wouldn't have known how to take care of her. So I'm grateful now for that. But we had a meeting, and what we started as is I said, I'm gonna start doing something called Hip Hop and Heels, and I'm gonna call it Hustling for Mama. And we sat in Mama's apartment at that time, and I said, I know enough people, y'all. Like with dancing, I was background dancing for Katie and Snoop and Usher and all of them back in the day. So I was like, I know enough celebrities that they would at least repost it. And so that's what I started doing. I started teaching classes, and then I reached out to Lorianne Gibson, all of the choreographers I had ever worked with, Tabitha, Napoleon, and people came and started teaching classes. J.R. Taylor, one of my good friends. And I'm like, y'all got these huge class spaces. Can you help me raise money to get my mom out the nurse home? Because I was one of them people that promised my mama, you never go to nurse home.
Yeah.
But she failed while I was on tour with Lettucey. And so that's how she ended up in a nurse home. She got hurt, and it was a rehabilitation turned nursing. She never was able to walk again. And went in on her birthday. I said, oh, Lord. The one thing I promised her I would never do, she go in the nursing home on her birthday. So that was in 2015. Yeah, 2015. And I said, I'm going to get her out of here by any means necessary. So I started doing the classes, but then the money started running low because it was $6,000 a month to keep her at the nursing home facility. And then they were sending us letters that were saying they were going to kick her out, which I was like, y'all can do that? Because we was behind on the bills. And so then I started documenting. And I would come back, and they didn't know that I was casing out the nursing home. So I was documenting, like, how do y'all bathe her? Can you mind if I see it? But really, I'm recording that. I'm coming back to my best friend. I hear Sasha going, look, this is what they do. This is how they bathe, Mama. Let's go find a spot. Thank you, Sherman Oaks Medical Supply. They have had my back since the moment until this day. I would come back and show them the videos, and they say, we have this bed, we have that. And so me and Sasha would figure out how much it costs. So then I made the GoFundMe. I was like, this is how much the chair is gonna cost. This is how much the bed's gonna cost. This is how much all this will cost to get my mama home. And I'd be like, oh, I need a flight, but it's first class, not because I'm being bougie, but because mama can't get back there. She needs the space. And we raised $14,000 in 4 days, I believe. And on December 21st, 2016, I got my mama out that nursing home. And I remembered the story, because remember, we was behind on the bills. So we were supposed to pay that bill before we left. And I remember telling my little brother, I was like, I'm gonna sneak mama out this nursing home after.
I know that's right.
After these folks leave the office. And that's what I did. At about 10 o'clock at night, we had it was...
Because if they was going to put her out.
You going to put her out anyway.
You going to put her out anyway, let me go on and take her. And you get your money when we get it.
Yeah.
Okay,
that
if
part.
we get
If you get it.
And that's our business, right? I mean, the system is so messed up.
It was crazy.
So I think, I heard you say it, but I think we kind of brushed over it. What is your mother's condition?
Yeah, she has multiple sclerosis and Alzheimer's. And like even, what's crazy, if you look back on my Instagram, just the other day she was talking to me. Yesterday she didn't know where she was.
Yeah.
And I was just like, how you have this type of joy and pain all in 24 hours? It has been crazy. Crazy.
Yeah.
So yeah, that part has been rough. The MS of it all is already hard because you watch her body just decline. Mama used to work out like me, like running, walking, all the things. As a little girl, I was behind her on my skates. Mama was always working out. So to see someone be so driven, not be able to do that anymore. So that already took her away. So now I'm like, so now Alzheimer's, you gonna come take her mind?
Yeah. Yeah. It's
How
tough.
old is she?
How old is Mama now? 71.
Amazing.
And how long, when did this take place?
I got Mama in 2016, but the MS started happening in her early 50s.
And which is how she failed.
Yep.
Yeah.
And not knowing, I was thinking like, Mama being dramatic, because Mama was dramatic. I was like, Mama, you can't walk today? Okay. And then I was just like, wait, she not making this up, Brandee. Start doing your research. I had never heard of multiple sclerosis.
Yeah.
It's like, what is this? And my daddy would be telling me at that time, because at that time they were married, and he's just like, Brand, it's bad. And then I started doing my research, and I was realizing, I'm like, oh, this really is true. And I remember my best friend Janine telling me, my aunt had MS, Brandee, I need you to prepare, because she ended up getting in a wheelchair. And not my mama. My mama walk, my mama run. Like, what you talking about?
Yeah.
And I'm just like, it's that moment where it's like, there's nothing you can do to fix her.
Yeah. Whew. We was doing good.
Maybe I should. Nah. If you don't mind me asking, how old were you when your mama's life changed?
Maybe 20s. Yeah, 20s. But I didn't understand. I was traveling.
Yeah.
I was just like, she'll be all right.
Whew.
That's rough.
Yeah.
Cause you have such a what's that word? Triumph. Her story is
resilient.
It's like it's one of those ones that you just immediately become a fan and want to root for the person that you. And I'm always a person that likes to pinpoint things like because to me it has a different kind of impact. You're talking about a 20-year-old who has been told and taught that this is not the life for you, and you found it. You actually sought it out. lied about it, got there. You feel me? Like you went against the grain all the way, and right when you are right in the thick of it, and touring, doing what you
Right,
doing
that
what
was the gag.
Yeah.
It was like after losing Lyric, like, for real, God?
This too?
Like, we didn't even get to the husband that ran off with the mistress. So I'm just like, okay, now my mama? Like, really? So it was that moment of, it was that moment of, I gotta make it.
Yeah.
It ain't no going back, I got to. And I think, I know for a fact, I know that that's the struggle. Just today, I was having a hard morning on the drive over here, reaching out to caregivers, and one of them told me, and I quote, when I told them my mom's weight, oh, she's that fat, and I quote, and I'm looking for a new caregiver, and I was like, well, I'll let you know if
Somebody said that for real?
that happened on my drive over here to y'all this morning, and because I'm still looking for another caregiver for Mama, and I don't know if it was a language barrier, if that's just how they speak, but that is what was said to me about my mother. And so then I reached out to the company. I was like, can I have someone that understands, mom's 180, 170, but
What?
And that's not gonna say that my mom's too fat for you to turn.
And they
into
said
that.
First of all, that means they just don't know proper technique.
That part.
Because you're not picking her up yourself.
You're not even as the whole
If she's
machine.
right.
Yeah.
Y'all have a lift.
Yeah. We have the lift.
I
we
miss
have
some.
But even when you
170,
don't have
180 is fat now. Like,
Exactly.
First of all,
but first of all,
like, I'm
the
missing
thing
something.
is when you have MS, ALS, because
Yep.
my mom, they can't control their body.
Exactly.
So they can't help you.
So the weight feels
So it's
heavy.
heavy.
Yes.
But that is why there is technique. You can use a sheet
Yep. The turning
to
sheet.
turn.
Yep.
Right? You have a lift that my mama had,
Yep.
that you hook up and it helps retrieve them. You can either wind it up
Yep.
or you
and
can,
I got the electric one.
you
I
can
was
have
like,
electric
yo, I
ones,
got
like,
all
the
the
work
things
is
trying to make it
being
easy.
done.
Exactly.
I just had that just triggered me.
Oh yeah, it took
Yeah.
me out of here. I was like, we was about 10 minutes from the house. I was like, okay, this day.
Yeah.
Breathe, Brandee.
Right.
What do you do
Yeah.
for mental health?
I am.
For yourself? Like,
I like to work out. I'll go hiking, working out. I love a good movie. I'm still learning how to manage my own mental health, honestly, because every time I feel like where I'm about to have some peace, something go down with Mama.
And it changes.
And it's just like, oh, you're not going to the spa today. Now you got the caregiver needs help. I got the whole grocery list on the way over here. So I'm like, wait, her medical supplies are coming? I was like, I'll deal with that when I leave tab. Like, it's just like, it's always something. So I'm trying to learn how to find the time for myself for mental health.
So some people see you and they say, oh, she's this beautiful actress and she's so glamorous in her photos and, she's on the successful show, she's doing these movies, she's doing all these things.
Y'all see what I want you to see.
And a lot of times they see that and forget that you're a human going through some of the exact same, if not worse, experiences. So let's just talk about what a day is like when there is no caregiver in the house and it's just you and Mama.
Yeah, that's gonna be the whole holidays now because this caregiver is leaving us. So you gotta get her up by 9, but you gotta wake her up earlier because she has the medicinal edibles I have to give her so her body can even wake up to be able to move her. So by the time I finally get her up and in her chair, maybe by 10:30, 11, breakfast, but it depends on the type of day. Is she having an MS day where she can't hold her head up? Because now I'm trying to hold her head up and open her mouth to feed her. She
Do y'all have the strap for the head that goes on the wheelchair?
No, we don't have that, but we have the neck brace.
Okay.
Where she's able to hold her neck up. And then for some, with the strap, the MS will lock her neck like crazy. And it's almost to where you feel like you're hurting her if you're trying to move her. So those moments, like her arms won't open. So that's another thing of waiting for the edible to relax her body. So now I'm like, oh, now I gotta shower her real quick before her body locks back up. So I get her fed. It depends on if she can swallow because the MS doesn't allow her to swallow some days. So
Does she have a feeding tube?
No feeding
okay.
tube. And she's on pureed diets though. If y'all know, pureed is kind of like baby food. But we have an amazing guy, Chef Derek, that I have out here who makes her real stuff. Like in a puree, she'll have her cabbage and cornbread for the holidays and stuff. And he's learned how to puree it so she can have a real meal. But sometimes and I could tell she'd be trying so hard, and she's like, I want a biscuit, she told me the other day. And I'm like, well, you gotta use your teeth and chew. And so she'll just be looking at me like I'm chewing, because also with that, the fear of like,
choking.
If you choke, I got to come do the Heimlich now, which I've had to do in the movie theaters before, because she loved popcorn. So we get her up. By 4 o'clock, she's starting to sundown. And she cannot take heat. It's like kryptonite. If it gets too hot, my house is so cold all the time.
And she gets dizzy.
I mean, the whole body will just lock up, and she'll just be holding her body like that. We get her in the bed by 8 o'clock, but that depends if she's had her bowel movement, because she doesn't know. With MS, you lose the ability to know if you gotta go. So those things happen too, because if she hasn't had a bowel and I put her in the bed at 8, I don't sleep that night, because I'm waking up every hour like a newborn, like, are you good? Are you good? And she can't tell me. So I'm turning her to check, and that happened the other night. And what's funny is the other night when she went to talk, she just had to use the bathroom. We all feel sick when we can't use the bathroom, but I didn't know what was wrong. And after that, she wanted to sit up and talk. Like it never happened. Like she wasn't moving at first, but I was just like, it's so off and on. There is no normal day for us. I don't know what the day could be. There are people that want to come and document stuff, but sometimes I get scared or embarrassed for my mom, because I'm like, I don't want them to see her like this. And so when I'm posting her, y'all see the good. I don't want to show the bad. And I know she wouldn't want me to show the bad, so I show the good. But it's a lot of bad days. It's a lot of bad days.
But talking about them, you know, you may not, of course, out of respect for your mother, you don't show it, but it is necessary to talk about it, because somebody else is going through that. I went through it with my mama. I have old disc of when I videoed her.
It's like I have all these videos, but I would never
which is
show
how
the
you
world.
and I kind of connected because of your mama. When I, first found out that she had him, I ain't have money back then, but I donated.
Thank you.
I was like, Lord, I know that journey. But I also, my mom had ALS. I had never heard of it before, and it's because people don't talk about the bad.
Right.
You go into it blind, and with what little bit you find on the internet. And so I commend you for having the conversation today, even though I know it is hard to live the life, to walk it, because it is your mama, and we only get one. We only get one. But even with your own trauma, and even with caregiving, it's like God has trusted you with the journey. Like He knows that what we can handle. I believe that, and I'm proud of you to be able to have this conversation. Although, it's like fighting. It's fighting back.
I commend you as well for what you just said about not documenting. We're living in a world now where everybody want to post everything.
Not everything now.
And the fact that you said that just makes me like you even more.
Like, they don't need to see everything.
You don't need to see everything, and everything ain't worth $1. Right?
And I'm sure I know a long time ago, people, if you da-da-da, I'm aware, but no.
But there can be a conversation.
Right.
And we all have an imagination. We can imagine how hard it is. We can talk to other families who now you're like, oh, wait a minute. She said her mama got MS and Alzheimer's. Like, I know such and such whose family is dealing with that. Now you can hear it, like for yourself, like your family members or friends or co-workers or whomever may be dealing with something you have no idea about. Right? We can make it look good. We can show up, you show up and still go to work and still walk red carpets and do all the things, but behind all of that curtain, there's something bigger happening. But it's also building character inside of you, right? Life character that you're gonna use, in projects. How has that, I know we talked about it a little bit, but how has that changed your performing?
First of all, patience. I remember my mom telling me I was impatient as a little girl, and I have no choice but to be patient with this. And also learning that it's not her, it's this disease. Because when the beginning stages of caregiving, I used to be so mad, like, Mom, why are you not drinking your water? Not realizing that she can't swallow, or this is a problem. So I had to learn the hard way. And then too, that trauma of me being mad, back in the day when she would push me aside and I would say things like, I'm the only one that really loves you and that's really here for you, and you're gonna see that one day. And I'm like, oh Lord, then you be careful what you speak, and now here we are, just me and Mama. And I even peeped last night how I was speaking to her, even though she couldn't remember. She's like, where am I? And I was like, well, you're in LA, baby. I was like, well, do you like it here? And I was just thinking, like, who are you right now? In my mind, sometimes, like, who is this Brandee? But I like her because she's a different Brandee, but I wish I would have had that patience for her in the beginning stages. I wish I would have known so much more then, but then I try to just not beat myself up and go, you can't do nothing about the past.
You don't know what you don't know.
You don't know what you don't know.
And
you're
that's
here
when
now.
you give grace to yourself.
And I'm working on that because I still beat myself up about different things I didn't know in the beginning, or why didn't I get this help? Now I'm just like, Brandee, you was doing the best you could.
That's right.
So I try to reach out to people online too. There are a lot of times you see me post, but there are a lot of ladies and guys that are in my DMs that I've made friends with that I'm like, here go my real number, sis. Like, call me because I overstand. She's like, well, my mama didn't. I'm like, girl, I ain't posted online either, but my mama didn't do this for me neither. But I got you, and I think that that's important to communicate with other people that they're not alone. So that was one of the reasons I started to post a little bit.
So how is your patience with other people outside? Does it work? Does it run thin? And if it do, I
sometimes it runs thin.
Because I would have cussed
sometimes
the person
it runs
that you said
thin.
you talked to earlier today.
I am proud of how I handled that in the car. I think I handled that. Did I handle that pretty well?
Surprising.
I really was just like, and that's the thing I've learned too, that I can't lose these caregivers, because I used to snap off too. Because it's just like, this is my mama, this is how I know it's supposed to be, but y'all can't do that because you need these people to take care of your people. And you're not gonna be at home all the time. You want them treating your people right. And so I've learned that. I've learned to give them breaks. I've learned to give people grace. But though my patience do be thin, because I'm like, I have dealt with all this all day. Now I got to go on set. And now I got da-da-da-da. And you're going to say something sideways to me, you have no idea what I just dealt with at home. But also reminding myself, self-help books have helped me. Reading more self-help books and talking to therapists as well. And just realizing, Brandee, you can't take out that on other people too, because they don't know that. They don't know that mama wouldn't hold her head up for the last 2 hours when you was trying to make it to Essence Black Women in Hollywood and the caregiver didn't show up. All the different things that are happening, or that you on a red carpet and mama's actually being released from the hospital and he's going to get her so you can hit the carpet.
That's where we saw her. She just reminded me. I said, what was the last time we saw? We saw her
at the Image Awards.
Was it the Image Awards?
Yeah, we was at the Image last year.
My brain be all over.
Oh no, you good.
But my brain be all over. I'm listening to you and I'm just recalling all the times that I would see you on TV. We'd be watching the show. And every time, my wife would always be like, in some form or fashion, that's my girl right there. She take care of her mama. I'm rooting on her. Where is she at? Like, it was always that. And sometimes I'm like, man, be quiet, man. It's a show, man.
Because it's a different space in my home.
It's a different, she was always rooting for you. And now I really understand. Because, like, man, I knew you was coming today, but I had no clue. Like, the story is so inspirational. Like, just to hear you and how you are dealing with your stuff and holding yourself accountable. I love people like you.
Well, you got to.
Which is the most important part of caregiving. I always try to explain to people, my mama, she felt guilty for getting sick.
Yeah.
And so I always try to tell people who are in the caregiving space, try your best not to make them feel guilty. Nobody wants to get sick.
They don't want to be like this. Yes.
Nobody desires to get sick. And she would feel so bad because I would come home from California and stay weeks, months at a time to help my sister take care of her. And she would say, you're supposed to be out there living your life. I'm like, Mama, if it was the other way around, you would be right here.
Yep.
And so it's so important as a caregiver for you to make sure you do take your breaks. Make sure you vocalize and let people know when you are at your breaking point.
Yep.
Because you don't want them to feel bad already they feel bad for being sick. But you don't want them to feel an additional layer of that because it's like, oh, I'm wearing and tearing on you, which it is wear and tear on us as a caregiver. But we can't take it out on them, right? But when you do, because it does happen.
It does. I've punched a wall. I've punched 2 walls. During the pandemic, I definitely, my fist went through the door because I was just so stressed and tired. But I'm like, Mom, it's not you. It's not you, it's me. And she still will ask me questions, and she'll ask me, she just asked me last week, like, I said, Mom, why are you looking at me like that? She said, I'm just thinking about you. I said, well, what are you thinking about me? Are you happy? And that broke my heart because I'm like, she is worried about me still. And I was like, I am. And so I purposely said, and I'm happy you're with me. And so I say out loud, it's an honor to take care of you. I would love to do this forever, Mama. Like, because I need her to know that she's not
a burden.
Not a burden.
Yeah.
Because I know it could be very easy in the beginning stages. I'm like, Mom, come on, you gotta eat. I gotta audition.
Yeah.
Like, she don't need to hear that. She wish she could feed herself.
Yeah,
you
she
know?
wish she could rush. She wish she
couldn't.
didn't have to be there.
Exactly.
That's always the thought that you have to think as a caregiver. They don't want to be taken care of. Everybody wish they could take care of themselves.
Exactly.
Everybody wish they could walk and talk, right? My mama was trapped inside of her body. She could hear everything. She could see everything. But just like your mom, she lost every ability to talk, to swallow, to laugh.
Right.
She couldn't laugh anymore because that's a muscle. She couldn't even cough or sneeze because those are muscles. Like you forget how something so small as opening a water bottle.
Right.
I remember the first time that Mama couldn't open a water bottle. She was like, "Can you open it for me?" And I was like, "Oh dang!" That was the early stages, but it's something that's just sticks out. And I remember she had to have a trach, and she couldn't even cough. We'd have to suction her because coughing would get her strangled. Because can't even you can't even swallow. Like something we do without thinking. You do it naturally. They lose the ability, and this is, we're talking about, neuromuscular diseases, but with so many different ailments, there are children that are born without the ability to live a life, a different ability. I always say, instead of disability, it's a different ability. But we all have to just be mindful on how we treat our loved ones, but also how we treat ourselves, especially, as a caregiver. But so I would love to know, because I always think about this with me during my journey, what's been the best part? Because sometimes people don't think there's a good part of it.
There is, and that's what's been joyous. The first 2 years were hard, and now I'm on year, 16? Year 8. And so the joy of spending time with her. Because, and I always say it's bittersweet because I always want to do these things with Mama. Like I wanted to go and have movie day. I wanted to have girls' day and massages. And we never did that. I don't even know why she's, no, I don't want to do that, I don't want to do that. I don't know what it was, but she enjoys it. Like even yesterday or the day before yesterday, and I was like, man, Lance, should we be calling them and getting a massage? Yes. So now I enjoy the girls' day of it all. And it's like, it's bittersweet because the little girl, Brandee, is able to get everything she wanted to do with her mama now. Like, if I want to go to the mall with my mama, we gonna go to the mall now. Like, this is fun. But it's also like, I wish she could walk. I wish I could ask her advice. I wish I could, tell her what's going on with me at this age as a woman and ask her what happened to her. I don't have that. So that's what's hard. So instead, I just focus on the positive. At least her eyes are open and she's in that room. Because I know that there will be a moment where I would wish that I could turn her, change her, even if she couldn't talk to me. There's going to be a moment that I wish for that. So I'm just trying to sit in the gratitude that I have her, even though I'm watching the stages change. Because it's like I have videos of where she's talking to me and she's, good luck at your audition. I'm like, and she can't do that now, but I know she thinks it. So,
Oh, I love that. Yes. Very good. Anything that you want to say to someone out there who may be caregiving, who it may be in the new part of their journey, or maybe they've been doing it for 8 years plus, and any encouraging words or anything you would like to leave with the people today?
First of all, it's okay to not be okay. It's okay to be tired. It's okay to be mad, sad, all of those things, and that does not make you a bad person because I had to learn that. But just remember the positive and what you're doing this for, and that they are so grateful to you. It is an honor to take care of them. It's an honor and a privilege that we won't always have. So just remember that, and just know it's okay. Take a break. If you need one, take it. That was the thing I didn't do. In the beginning, nobody could help me. Everybody, what can we do? Nothing. Nothing. I got to do it all by myself. Well, that's how you break, sis. That's how you break, bro. Okay, take a moment and allow somebody to help you. And also, people don't know how to help you when you don't tell them. Or if you act like you got it all together. And that's what I would do a lot of times. I still struggle with that. Like, I got it. And I'm just like, but you don't. Like, why can't you ask somebody to help you?
People believe what you tell them.
Yeah. If you tell them that you're good, then they good, and now you sitting over there side-eyeing them.
Now you mad at them.
Now you mad, but you didn't tell. You told them that it was okay.
That's right.
But really, like this year, yes, y'all come visit me on the holidays because I got mama by myself. Please, somebody come to the house. Like, but usually I'm just like, it's good, and then I find myself once mama go to bed, I'm in the living room bawling. Yeah. And nobody came to see me. Well, you told everybody you was good. So be honest with everybody.
Very good. Yeah. I love it. And now, before we go, you have T-shirts.
Yes.
Yes. Well, you have one on,
but the other one too. Yes.
You got
it's a different one?
Yeah, I got a new one.
It's on my couch.
So this is the Caregiver Strong brand. Yeah. And I did this because what's funny is Strong. This is the tattoo. Me and Mama got matching tattoos on her 64th birthday. It was her idea, by the way.
Shut up.
We was walking down the street in North Hollywood and she was like, I want a tattoo. I was like, what? I found a vegan tattoo spot.
Really?
And this is a vegan tattoo. I didn't even know that was a thing.
I didn't even know it was a thing.
Yes.
Oh my God. What makes it not vegan, I guess?
Up for you.
Yes.
Oh, Lord, why you tell my wife that was vegan? We're going to be over there.
Listen, I might need to go get me a nut.
Yes. The vegan tattoo. So, and it's strong because Mom would always say, stay strong, but caregiver strong. You hold the heart.
I love this one.
And it's okay to not have the capacity. Okay? And use some self-care. I actually made that for myself.
This is so good.
And I just was like, I don't have the capacity. I don't have the capacity to go get some self-care. And I was like, let me put it on a shirt. Because I know all of us have these moments where we just feel like we have boundaries, but sometimes we don't stick to them because I can do it. You don't have to do everything, and you don't have to have the capacity to do everything.
Right.
So go get you some self-care.
And another thing, this is so great for people who it's hard for you to speak up for yourself. A lot of times, and I'm speaking to some very specific people right now, sometimes you dump on people without asking them if they have the capacity to hear what you got going on. It's not fair to just call or show up and just vomit everything that you got going on somebody without asking them, do you have the capacity to handle what I'm going through right now? Sometimes we can't help a situation, something is happening, it happens in the right now moment. But some people, and y'all know who I'm talking to,
that was me at one point, for real.
You don't care about what somebody else got going on. You think it's all about you, and you just gonna let it go on somebody. And you don't take into consideration that they don't have the capacity right now. Somebody might be unloading on you on one of your worst days with your mama, and she don't have the capacity, but nobody stopped to say, girl, I'm so sorry. Can I talk to you right now? I got a lot going on. It's also okay to say, I want to hear what you got going on, but right now I can't even hear it.
Yep.
So I can't even give you the love you need in this moment. Let's come back to it, right? That's also okay.
That is so good, man.
You know who told me that? My best friend, Sasha. She used to say that to me, and I used to have a little attitude about it, if I'm honest. And she was like, I don't have the capacity for that. And I was like, what does that mean? Like, oh, so I can't call my friend? Don't be like that, y'all. And I didn't realize it until, like you said, people started dumping on me, and I'm like, I have 3 pages of dialogue tomorrow on top of my mama, and you want me to hear what? I ain't got it. And I'm like, oh, that's... And therapy. Therapy helped me realize too, like, quit dumping on, call your therapist. Something, you know what I mean? Like, you're dumping or get one. But I was dumping. I was queen dump.
Yeah. Sometimes you don't realize, because you've been dumped on for so long, you think it's normal to dump on somebody else. But it's not, right? So we really got to just start being mindful and compassionate and giving each other grace. And like she said, if somebody tells you that, know that they love you. Yes. Because that means they can't even hear what you're saying. So you can't even get from them what you need, right? So I love this. You know, and I'm a person.
I think this one is mine.
Oh, this your, He get on my nerves. This the medium bag. She got one for you.
Oh, okay.
She'll get you one. Okay, this one for me.
Okay.
Because I definitely am a person. I don't mind the majority of the time. I love. It's one of my gifts to receive and take from people.
But I can imagine people just dump on
all
you.
the time.
Yeah.
But there are times when I tell people I just need a minute, But God has gifted me in a way. My mama was the same. We can take, and it don't affect me, right? But there's times when my own stuff is working and happening, and I'm like, wait, I can't give you what you need right now. So I'll be wearing this when I have it on. Y'all give me grace, okay? We thank you for coming. Thank you for sharing.
Thank y'all for having me. I've never been this transparent with anyone before.
Really?
This feels like a safe space.
It is a safe space. You are a safe girl here. We're so proud of you. We love you. You want to tell people like anything else you might have going on and where they can support and where they can find you in the shirts.
Yes. Make sure y'all get y'all shirts on shop.brandeeevans.com. These are both for sale.
And we'll put it in the description of this video.
And then also, I know y'all wondering, yes, P-Valley coming out, man. Okay, we coming.
Yes.
We're finishing up this month, so y'all gonna see something soon. You're not gonna see it by the end of the year. Okay?
Yeah, no.
It's okay.
2025.
Yeah.
2025, yes.
But it's coming.
Yes, and then they can follow you on social media.
Yes, at The Real Brandee.
Yes.
And also, wait, let me back up. Y'all, the color book, it's not out yet, but it has been going through the film festivals. And I'm in that, and I play the mom of a disabled son who has Down syndrome. And so that has been doing beautiful all over. And Will Catlett plays my husband.
I saw y'all posting about it. And I love Will too. He's phenomenal.
So y'all definitely check out the color book. Hopefully it will be coming to streaming services really soon.
Amazing. Amazing. Anything else, babe?
No, I was gonna ask her if she had anything. I know you got the T-shirts, but anything where people can donate.
I don't. And you know what? Wow. Okay, let's just be real transparent. I stopped asking for help, and I'm probably you're gonna eat me up about this. I saw a comment, and I know better than that. But somebody said, not you begging and you rich. And I'm like, ain't nobody rich.
It's a misconception.
People equate seeing you on TV with being wealthy.
TV is not. First of all, caregiving is $300 a day. It's costing $300 just to sit at this table today, y'all. Y'all don't understand. And 300 times 30 days, $9,000 a month. So that's what people don't realize is happening. But that's why I stopped asking, because people see me on TV, they see me on the carpet. When that dress went right back to my stylist when I took it off that night, they don't realize. Yeah. So I stopped asking for help with money.
So let me tell you why you should.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you because for one, that's for people who don't have any knowledge of it. But the people who do,
they understand
and have been where you are, and now they are making a little bit of money, they gonna be like, this is a misconception. The ordinary person gonna see her and think she got it. But the people who have been through it and know and survived it, we know what she going through. Forget them people.
And also, I have been triggered again. I'm over here trying to keep my composure. This is something else a lot of people don't know. When you get a diagnosis that are terminal diagnosis, ain't no insurance.
Oh my Lord.
They don't pay for caregivers.
Nope.
They don't pay for your wheelchair. Nope. They don't pay for no generator. They don't pay for physical therapy. They don't pay for anything, hardly anything extra other than them regular doctor's appointments. Anything to give you quality of life while you're still here, they're not going to pay for it. That is out of pocket. We had to raise money. We had to sell food. We had to get donations. We had to do something. You apply for grants, and you don't always get them. You are constantly trying to support your family, your loved one, when you have certain diagnoses and there are no benefits, right? So people who make comments like that are ignorant.
Dumb.
They have no knowledge, right?
Stupid.
And right, babe. Say it in English, babe. Go ahead. Tell them how you really feel.
She always say stuff in love. I'm gonna say how I want to.
Because, I'm giving them grace only because they have no knowledge. Right? Yeah. But it's still like, it's the reason I don't care about comments.
That's true. That's true.
Because
I'm like, if you see me driving around in real life, I'm still in that Ford Fiesta. And
come on.
because I chose to buy Mama's wheelchair this year with my P-Valley money. It was buy Mama a wheelchair or get a car. So I don't care what y'all think about me in this Ford Fiesta.
Yeah.
With no radio. Because my speaker is in there, because the radio, if I plug it up, she don't crank. So.
Yeah. And it's all right.
So, yeah.
And that's temporary. But you're doing so well, the things that you're doing, and God sees it, and He honors it, and the best is yet to come. Okay? All right. So by the time y'all see this, there may be a donation link up. Check her bio on her Instagram, okay, and on the website. Buy these shirts, because this also helps support her mother and her journey. Before I get outside of Miss Day. Okay. We love you.
Thank you. I love you.
Thank y'all for watching. Caregivers, we love you. We see you. We appreciate you. Make sure that you give yourself grace and time today. And until the next time, y'all go about y'all business, all right? Have the most amazing day. But even if you can't have a good one, don't you dare go messing up nobody else's. God bless y'all. We love you. Thank you for watching this episode, honey. And if you liked it, go ahead and click right here for more of those episodes.
And if you haven't already subscribed, please remember to do so.
Very good.